ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ, बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
चंदन है इस देश की माटी,
चंदन है इस देश की माटी, तपोभूमि हर नाम है। हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है। चंदन बिनु तेरे, नंदलाल सावरिया मेरे हो। अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, नंदलाल सावरिया मेरे हो। अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, गोपाल सावरिया मेरे। अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, गोपाल सावरिया मेरे।
अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, गोपाल सावरिया मेरे।
अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, गोपाल सावरिया मेरे।
मेरे राधा रमण गिरिधारी,
मेरे राधा रमण गिरधारी।
ओ मेरे राधा रमण गिरिधारी,
मेरे राधा रमण गिरधारी।
गिरिधारी श्याम बनवारी। ओ
गिरधारी श्याम बनवारी।
ओ गिरिधारी श्याम बनवारी। ओ
गिरधारी श्याम बनवारी। अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, नंदलाल सावरिया मेरे हो। अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, नंदलाल सावरिया मेरे।
ओ अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, गोपाल सावरिया मेरे।
अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे, गोपाल सावरिया मेरे।
नंदलाल सावरिया मेरे।
नंदलाल सावरिया मेरे।
ओ गोपाल सावरिया मेरे।
गोपाल सावरिया मेरे।
अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे।
अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे,
ओ अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे।
अब कोई न सहारा बिनु तेरे।
मेरी राधा रमण गिरिधारी, गिरिधारी श्याम बनवारी। हो
मेरे राधा रमण गिरधारी, गिरधारी श्याम बनवारी।
गिरिधारी श्याम बनवारी।
गिरधारी श्याम बनवारी।
गिरिधारी श्याम
गिरधारी श्याम बनवारी।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारि। बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायकु फलचारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरौ पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेस विकार। ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरन रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे कांधे कुंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Jai Shri Krishna. A very, very warm welcome to all of you Geeta Sadhakas. And I also send my Sashtang Dandavati Pranam to Param Pujya Acharya Shri Swami Shri Govinda Dev Giri Ji Maharaj Shri. First of all, let's do prayer. For prayer, I would like to invite Suresha D. Sonappa Ji. Vaidya is from Bengaluru and he is professor in medical college. He is also a Veena Vadak. He has joined Geeta Parivar in January 23 and he is doing seva as a technical assistant in Learn Geeta classes. Jai Shri Krishna Vaidya.
जय श्री कृष्ण। वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। जय श्री कृष्ण।
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you so much Vaidya reciting a beautiful prayer. Today is auspicious day of Deepavali. Deepavali is festival of lightening a lamp and particularly on no moon day. We all got enlightened with knowledge of Bhagavad Gita as a symbol of that. Let's do Deep Pragatya. For perform this ritual, I would like to request Shraddha Khaitana Didi. Didi is from Calcutta and she has joined Geeta Parivar in May 22. She is serving as a technical assistant and co-trainer, mentor in Learn Geeta classes. Jai Shri Krishna Didi.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयन सुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृताम् कलहंसकृतावासाम् वरदां शारदां नुमः वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you so much, Shraddha Didi, for performing a divine ritual of Deep Pragatya. And now, I would like to remind you that new batch of Learn Geeta class is going to start on upcoming 17th. So, we have still time. Let's make more lamps alighten. Bhagavad Gita is treasure trove of spiritual knowledge that can guide us towards a more fulfilling life and help us awaken to our true purpose and potential. And now, I request to take Dada Shri Suresh Vyasji to spotlight our respected speaker, Shri Vikasji Vaidya. Vikas Bhaiya is senior trainer in Geeta Parivar. He is from Pune but staying in US since last 12 years. He has deep knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Shri Vishnu Sahasranama and also of other spiritual granthas of Bharat. About Bhaiya is a very great thing. He knows so many languages, including Spanish, Indonesian, Malaysian, etc. I request to Shri Vikasji Vaidya start today's interpretation of chapter 4, third part. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya, Pranam.
जय श्री कृष्ण. परम पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमल में कोटि कोटि नमन. We are studying Adhyaya 4th, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Last time we covered up to Shlok number 20. So let us start with Shlok number 21. Nirashirita chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha sharirang kevalang karma kurvannapnoti kilvisham. Nirashi. Nirashi does not mean nirash. Nirashi means without desire. Without desire for results, return, reward, expectations. So nirashi. Yata chittatma. One who has full control over his mind and body is yata chittatma. Tyakta sarva parigraha. One who is not in the habit of accumulating things of material pleasure. Aparigraha. Parigraha is to keep on accumulating. Aparigraha is not to accumulate. So he has relinquished that habit of accumulating things of material pleasure. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Sharirang, related to body. Kevalam. Kevalam is only, as we say in Hindi also. Karma. Karma is action. Kurvan. Kurvan, having done that. Na apnoti. Never acquires, never gets entangled with kilbisham. Kilbisham is the bondage or sinful reaction of your karma. So Paramatma says, one who has fully controlled his body and mind, yata chittatma, and who has abandoned the habit of collecting things of material pleasure, tyakta sarva parigraha. That yogi doing nishkam karma, that means without expectation of return or reward, and doing work only for bare necessities of life, is not affected by the bondage or by the sinful reactions of his karma. So this is the technique Paramatma is teaching us, that if you want to get unbondaged because of your karmas. Karmas you cannot avoid. We have learned this. Karmas can never be avoided. But how to avoid getting bondage, getting entangled with those karmas? So this is the technique. Nirashir, don't expect anything from your karma. Yata Chittatma, have full control your mind and body, and Takta Sarva Parigraha. If these three things we can follow in life, then we can become unbondaged because of our karma. The karma that we do will turn out to be a nishkam karma. So this is the simple technique Paramatma is explaining us in this sloka. So Nirashirata Chittatma Tyakta Sarva Parigraha Sharirang Kevalang Karma Kurvannapnoti Kilbisham. Such a man of perfection who is bereft of desire and expectations, his mind and body controlled and perfectly balanced, he performs all necessary actions, karmas, having given up all possessions. That means Tyakta Sarva Parigraha and concept of ownership, doership. This person does not incur any sin. So it is, as we know, it is easier to control your body than your mind. Body can be controlled somehow because the mind is subtler than body. We have 5 senses of perception, 5 jnanendriyas, and the mind is regarded as the boss, as the ruler of these senses. The mind in turn is governed by prana, our vital life force, prana. So if you want to control your senses, you need to stabilize your mind first. And if you want to control your body, then you need to regulate your prana. These are the steps. The question is, do you have any knowledge about the functioning of prana? You first need to understand its functioning, how it works in your body. And in order to learn the know-how of controlling your prana, you first need to purify and balance your body. And how to purify and balance our body? This is done through practice of asanas. You see, this body is the most important tool for our spiritual evolution. If the body is not strong and healthy, it is difficult to walk on this path of spirituality. Strong, I don't mean strong means physically strong, but one who does not keep falling sick again and again. And if you have not controlled it, if you have not mastered your body, you will be unable to stabilize your mind. Asanas are meant for balancing the body, balancing the body's energy. Now, if you find out there are 84,000 asanas, can we do all 84,000 asanas? It's impossible. So what we can do is, they say minimum 24 asanas should be practiced daily. Consistent and persistent practice will enable us to gain control over our body. So asanas are necessary for having control over your body. Paramatma says, have control over your body and mind. So control over your body you can get through asanas. Gradually, as your capacity increases and improves, then you can learn and master the practice of pranayama. Body has been controlled, now pranayama. This is the basic process. In the context of pranayama, the Shastras, they say that when inhalation occurs to the count of 16 heartbeats, inhalation 16 heartbeats, breath is retained inside for the count of 64 heartbeats, and exhalation is done to the count of 32 heartbeats. So 1:4:2, that is the proportion. This is said to be the benchmark for knowing the pranayama. If you understand this, then it has been pranayama. You have understood how to do pranayama. And it is only once pranayama has thus been perfected that the guru will further instruct the shishya, the disciple, into the higher practice of controlling prana. Basic pranayama should be learned first, not before that. Because until this happens, the body will not have the requisite capacity into deeper practices of pranayama. The one who is in control of his body is Krishna in this, Shri Krishna in this shloka. Whereas your current situation is that The body controls you. It is for all of us. There are yogis who at one point in time had such indisposed bodies that they would appear they would live not too long. But then with the consistent and rigorous practice of asanas, yogas, not only did they make their bodies healthy and fit, but over a period of time, they have managed to understand the functioning, the mechanism of entire body. The one who has gained mastery over his body can at will, with his resolve, either start or stop the functioning of body part. And this is what is meant to be in control of body. Now some may say that why bother about the body? Let us directly get onto tempering of the mind. Why we have to run after body? Basically, we have to stabilize our mind, no? So why not to start with that? This is exceedingly difficult. Those who lead an unrestrained, uncontrolled, imbalanced life, it is their bodies that end up becoming diseased, isn't it? And the body, if the body is uncontrolled, unbalanced, only when the mind is unrestrained, unbalanced. Who has the right to higher knowledge? Ramayana Mahabharata says that the one who has walked up the step of ladder of yoga is entitled to receive the higher knowledge. Yoga is a must for attaining higher knowledge. The one whose mind is unbalanced and capricious can only catch the words, but he can never grasp the deep, inherent meaning meant by those words. This is why, in fact, a dangerous thing to listen to the knowledge when the mind is imbalanced. When the mind is imbalanced, you listen to some knowledge, mind is fickle and impure. For all such imbalanced and imprudent persons, they will achieve only one thing. They will inflate their ego. They will think, I have acquired the knowledge, when in reality they have not, because their mind is not balanced. Mind is not pure. Work towards getting the mastery over the body, over the breath, over the prana. And once this happens, the mind will inevitably get stabilized. So these are the steps we need to follow. There is a deep relation between mind and prana. The scriptures, our Hindu scriptures, Sanatana scriptures say that stop your breath and undoubtedly the mind will stop too. Control of breath leads to control of mind. Because breath is the horse on which the mind rides. So if you halt the horse, the rider gets halted automatically. Therefore, at least 24 asanas and practice of pranayama needs to be performed daily to have good control over your body and mind. This will make our foundations sound and strong, such that your spiritual evolution will progress exponentially at a faster pace. Let us read this verse several times so that it sinks perfectly well in our mind as to how we are supposed to walk on the path of spirituality. Who lead an life bereft of temperance and moderation will never attain the high goal of Shri Krishna, what Shri Krishna is talking about. So this pre-qualification, what Shri Krishna has explained in this shloka, Nirashi, Yata Chittatma, Tyakta Sarva Parigraha, are the essential requirements before we start walking on the path of spirituality. The one who has no restraint over his speech, who keeps getting overpowered by anger, who keeps exhibiting his very inflated ego, who eats excessively, who sleeps excessively, who talks excessively, such a person cannot become a yogi. Use your wisdom, your intellect, and lead a life of moderation. In 6th Adhyaya, we know this, how moderation is most important thing in our life. The second point mentioned by Lord Shri Krishna in this shloka is about relinquishing your possessions. or not accumulating things of material pleasure. Now, this does not mean that you ought to throw away all that you own and give up your house, give up your clothes, give up your utensils or furniture. Keep as much as is needed for the sustenance and maintenance of your body is not a sin. So that much bare minimum we should maintain. Food, clothing, shelter are essential to sustain the body. This cannot be argued. And this is not an issue, absolutely. The problem is that you keep on acquiring and holding more than what is necessary or essential. I have one car, I want to have one more because my neighbor has 2 cars. So I want one more. So you don't need it actually, but you keep accumulating it. Relinquish this tendency to amass, to hoard. This is what Lord is saying in this shloka. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Just keep only that is what is essential, which is necessary for the sustenance of body, and save yourself from the never-ending web of vasanas. You take something and some other vasana will crop up in your mind. And then you will run after that, 3rd thing will come, 4th thing will come. This will never end up. Furthermore, Lord Shri Krishna says, perform the karma essential to maintain the body, but with the proviso that karma, the action, is performed without expectation, nirashi, without any desire for the result. In Bhagavad-Gītā, Shri Krishna has said this time and again in several shlokas. Don't run away from responsibilities in the name of God. Keep performing your karma. Don't run away from karma. Rather, Shri Krishna says, transform your worldly duties from being tedious karmas to being a source of divine joy. You should take joy in performing your prescribed duties. That is what the teaching of Gita is. So, nirashirata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha sharirang kevalang karma purvanna noti kilbisham. We go to next shloka, 22. Yadruchalava santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhava siddhau cha krutva pinani badhyate. Yadruchalava santushto. This is important thing. Yadruchalava santushto. Being satisfied with the gains which come on its own accord, without your wishing for it. They come on their own accord. Yadruchalava santushto. And then in that you become satisfied. No special effort for gains. Something which comes up on its own accord. Dvandvatit, free from duality. Vimatsar, free from envy. Sama, that means equipoised, steady. Siddhau, siddhi is success, positive results. Asiddhau, that means in failure, negative results. Krutva, while doing the karma, api, although even na nibadhyate, never gets entangled, never gets affected. So Shri Krishna says, Yadruchalava santushto dandvatito vimatsara samasiddhava siddhocha krutva apina nibadhyate. One who is satisfied with gains which come on its own accord automatically without botheration. Without botheration for the gains, I mean, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure. This is another fundamental teachings of Bhagavad-Gītā. Remain equipoised in all situations. Don't start dancing when you get something favorable, and don't start shedding tears when you get something unfavorable. In both the situations, you should be equipoised. Samatma yoga uchyate. There is shloka in 2nd adhyaya. Remaining equipoised in all situations is yoga. And one who has understood, who has grasped, who has practiced this training of remaining equipoised in all situations is a yogi by himself. He doesn't have to do anything special then. He is already a yogi. So who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing karma. Dvandvatit. Dvandvatit, getting thoughts of contradictory meanings. Paramatma is manifested or unmanifested, Sagun Sakar or Nirgun Nirakar. Should I pay attention to my material life or should I walk on the path of Adhyatma? Krishna who was playing in Vrindavana with Gopi and all that, and the Krishna who told Bhagavad-Gītā to Arjuna, was it same or different Krishna? Meaningless arguments people keep on doing, and we keep on getting bothered with such bandhva in mind. Paramatma says, do away with all these bandhvas. So yadruchalava santushto dvandvatito vimatsara samasiddhao siddhavcha kurtvapina nibadhyate. Content with whatever that comes of him on his own accord, free from all dualities and devoid of any expectations. Remain equanimous in success and failure. Such a person is not bound despite performing actions. So these things, if we follow Yadruchalava Santushto and Dandvatito Vimatsara, we wear a raincoat and put on our gumboot, and we keep walking on the mud of karma so that the karma does not get attached to our body. The mud does not get attached to our body. So Paramatma is giving us these techniques that you keep performing karma and how you can be free of any entanglement. Follow these precepts. So he is satisfied with whatever comes to him effortlessly. He has no desire, no expectation, but the actions keep happening through him. And he is content with the consequences irrespective of what they are. Neither despondent in defeat nor very boastful in the victory. Equipoised. Now let us check where we stand. The fact is that the slightest achievement fills us with pride and slightest failure fills us with despair. Even a very small victory or success makes us want to shout aloud on the top of our roof. We boast. Some even get their photos printed in newspaper. I have achieved this. So that all people, even common people who are not concerned with this person, they also come to know about your achievement. On the other hand, even the most insignificant failure or defeat makes you despondent, makes you feel ashamed, and you try to hide from people. In this context, we should note that every time some criminal, some politician, or some law-breaking businessman is shown on TV as caught and arrested, the culprit invariably tries to cover up his face with a scarf or some such piece of clothing. It is as if these miscreants, lawbreakers, keep a piece of clothing ready, handy at all times, in case we have to cover our face. So I keep wondering from where do they get that piece of cloth to cover their face all the time? They have no regrets about carrying out illegal activities or unethical activity, but they are very concerned and upright about getting caught. Moreover, it gives such corrupt persons great pleasure if they can manage to dodge the police or dodge the law. Businessmen, especially those dealing with black money, are always worried about income tax department and have a sigh of relief only when their tax returns get accepted. They play many tricks for even filing tax returns in consultation with their tax consultant. People have no issues in breaking the law. They are worried only about getting caught. This is what we see. Now coming back to this shloka, Paramatma says the Jnani is neither very euphoric in success nor despondent in failure. Samasiddhao siddhavcha. He is content with whatsoever that comes about his way effortlessly. Whether he gets or does not get something from this material world, he is not bothered. If it comes, okay. If it doesn't come, okay. Because he knows the pointlessness in pursuing that which is transient, impermanent. Even if you get something, is it going to remain with you permanently? It is transient, it is impermanent. And he also knows that with conviction that which is unchanging never leaves him. What is unchanging? Our soul, our jivatma, that never leaves. That is unchanging. That never changes. This is the art of living, wherein you do all appropriate, virtuous, righteous actions, deeds but with the no-doer attitude. Kartrutva abhiman rahit. And when you are the non-doer, you are the non-bearer of its consequences. You are not the doer, so why should we bear the consequences of it? Normally what we do is, we do little thing and we start claiming doership of that. If you are the doer, then face the consequences. As simple as that. That's why I say goodbye to the sense of I, mine. I am nothing. And nothing belongs to me. Then who will be affected by this karma bandhan? What will the significance of respect and disrespect then when you are not the doer? If somebody talks bad about it, you are not the doer. So why should you get involved in somebody's respect or disrespect? A Jnani is content with whatever situation that comes in his life. He is content in the present moment, irrespective of whether it brings profit or loss, praise or criticism, success or failure. This is because his joy is not dependent on any external event or person. He is blissfully absorbed in his real pure self. He doesn't have to depend on outside things for self-satisfaction or self-joy. The self-realized man has no expectation from this world at all. And thus, he lives in the present moment without labeling it as good or bad. Whatever is coming, I am living in the present moment. Only the present moment exists. There is a song in Bollywood, Aane wala pal jaane wala hai. Isi pal mein reh lo to. There is a song like the Amol Palekar's movie. So, only the present moment that exists. There is nothing before it and nothing after it. The past has become nothing and the future has no existence in the present moment. When you are living in present, does the past has any existence? Past is nothing. It has gone already. And does the future has any existence at present? No, future is yet to come. So what is valid at the moment is the present moment. All that is the present moment, thus live in the present. And this is what this yogi has learned. Okay, we go to next sloka, 23rd. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasaha yajnaya charatah karma samagram praviliyate. Gata sangasya. Sangha is attachment. One whose attachment to materialistic world have gone forever, have withered away. Gata sangasya. He has left all attachment with the material world. Muktasya. One who is liberated. Jnana vasthita chetasaha. One whose intellect is anchored in the spiritual consciousness. Like, when we go to a seashore or a river, the ship we see, ship gets anchored at the shore so that the waves do not move it. Similarly, Jnana vasthita chetasaha, the intellect is anchored in the transcendental wisdom or in the spiritual consciousness. That is Jnana vasthita chetasaha. Yajnaya, for the sake of performing prescribed duty. Bhagavad-Gītā says yajna means your prescribed duty. Acharataha, acharan, acting, behavior or performing. Samagrama, in total. Praviliyate, get diminished. Wither away, does not remain entangled. So gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasaha yajnaya charatah karma samagram praviliyate. One whose attachments to this material world are detached. Detachment from attachment. That is the principle. Forever. Who is liberated, muktasya. Whose intellect is anchored in the spiritual consciousness, jnana vasthita chetasaha. And who performs karma action for the fulfillment of his prescribed duties. His all karmas actions do not bind him. In third adhyaya also we learn a shloka. Yajnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Whatever karmas you do other than your prescribed duty, they create a bondage on you. Yajnarthat karmano anyatra. Other than your yajna, other than your prescribed duties, whatever karmas you do, that put a bondage on you. So keep performing your yajna, that means your prescribed duties, that too without the doership or expectation of return and reward. do away with doership. You are not the doer. So Gatasangasya Muktasya Jnanavasti Chetasa Yajnaya Charta Karma Samagram Praviliyate. The one who is unattached to the material world, who offers all actions as a yajna into this divine, and who is firmly established in the spiritual, in the transcendental knowledge, all actions of such a liberated person, yogi, being get dissolved. Praviliyate. The Lord beautifully describes the attributes of self-realized man. First is devoid of worldly attachment, Gatasangasya. Then established in the knowledge, Jnanavasti Chetasaha, and performing all actions as if he is performing a yajna. Now let us see here, yajna does not mean the ritualistic, sacrificial, that offering in Agni by lighting a fire, Havan Kunda, not that yajna. The term yajna has been used wherein all actions are offered, dedicated into divine, just as offerings are made in that ritualistic yajna. So you do your karma and offer it to the Lord. That is that yajna. Whatever I think, whatever I do for the divine, by the divine, I offer everything back to divine. Yajna means the virtuous actions, the acts of merit, which are dedicated to the Lord. And mind you, even a seemingly lowly act like sweeping the floor can become a yajna if you perform it joyously, dedicating it to the divine. Likewise, even activities like cooking, eating, walking, talking can become a yajna. See, our attitude changes when you do so-called worldly activities. And it is different when you perform any religious rituals or rites. This is not right. Your entire life should be treated as being divine. Whatever the task, be it physical, be it emotional, be it mental or intellectual activity. When you do it without attachment and having dedicated it to the Lord, then every activity becomes a yajna. So Paramatma is expecting that you perform your karma as a yajna and offer it to me. But we often see that people don't enjoy their work. So the lady of the house sometimes cooks in irritation and serves the food in anger. She derives no joy whatsoever and regards cooking as an unwanted activity, boring activity. Instead, the attitude of the cook, then be it man or woman, whatever, should be such that it is being cooked for the Lord. And while serving, don't see if the person is related to you or not. Rather, see the divine reflecting in every face and thus feed that person lovingly. Then your cooking, your serving, it becomes a worship. It becomes a yajna. So Kabir, Sant Kabir, he would weave clothes on a spinning wheel. And when people would ask him that at what time does he chant the Lord's name, you are busy all the time on the spinning wheel, he would laughingly reply, this wheel is my rosary bead. And the clicking sound created by its movement is the background music to which the Lord's name gets chanted rhythmically. Who says you should work at a certain time and meditate at a certain time only? Meditate not only at a fixed time, meditate all the time. Don't meditate only when you sit down at a set time, but your work too should become a tool for meditation. Whether it is sweeping, mopping the floor, washing the clothes, or doing anything else, let the chanting, the kirtan happen simultaneously. Activity is continuing and mentally you are chanting Paramatma's name. While you joyously perform the said task, the entire life becomes a yajna. If we start learning, if we learn this technique of doing our duties every day, then our entire life becomes a yajna. For the one who is devoid of attachment, devoid of expectation, and established in the knowledge and dedicates all the actions to the divine. Gatasangasya Muktasya Jnanavasti Chetasa Yajnaya Charata Karma Samagram Praviliyate. We go to next shloka, 24th. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavirbrahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. Arpanam. Arpanam is the utensils used in making offering in the yajna. We offer til or wood pieces or whatever. That utensils through which you offer that, it is arpanam. Brahma. Brahma is for Brahma, the God. Havi. Havi is the items like til or ghee or jaw, which are offered in that fire of Agni, fire of yajna. Brahmana. One who is making this offering. Person performing the yajna is Brahmana. Brahmagnau. Brahma in the form of Agni, in the form of fire. Hutam, the activity, the action of making that offering is Hutam. Brahma karma samadhina. One who deeply gets involved in this yajna with total devotion to Brahma is Brahma karma samadhina. He is in a sort of samadhi wherein he sees only Brahma, nothing else. Tena, by him, gantavyam, results to be achieved or attained. Brahma is Brahma, eva is Brahma only. So Brahmarpanam Brahmavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. Whatever you are offering in the yajna is Brahma. The person making the offering is also Brahma. The Brahma is all the offering made into that sacrificial fire Agni, which too is Brahma. Agni is also Brahma. This Brahma is attained by the one who sees Brahma in all actions. Brahmarpanam Brahmavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. Not a very good comparison, but a person who is affected by jaundice, he sees yellow, yellow, yellow everywhere. Similarly, this person, he sees only Brahma, Brahma, Brahma everywhere, in all actions. And this is a well-known shloka, which is chanted by the traditional sannyasis, or even for by householders like us, before they eat their meals. The food they eat is Brahma. The one who is eating this food is also Brahma. The fire which will digest the food is also Brahma. Our Jatharagni is also Brahma. The resultant energy from that imbibed food, that also is Brahma. Thus Brahma is interacting with Brahma. Food is consumed by both. The one who identifies with his body and one who sees himself as Brahma. But there is a huge difference between these two. If you want to understand this shloka in the context of ritualistic meaning of the word yajna, that is the sacrificial offering done in that by igniting the fire and pouring offerings in that, like say clarified butter, that means ghee or incense, etc., then Lord is saying the material being offered in the fire is Brahma. The sacrificial fire is Brahma. The one who makes the offering is Brahma. The one who chants the mantra is Brahma. And the fruit of this yajna is also Brahma. So the one who leads his life in this way, seeing Brahma everywhere, in every form, in every event, in every action, he is always in a state of samadhi, Brahma karma samadhina. Such a person does not have to take any special efforts to sit in samadhi at any specific time. Normally people will say, I get up at 4:30 in the morning and then do meditation and enter into samadhi for some time. This person doesn't have to do that. At all the time he is in samadhi only. Whether his eyes are divine, supreme, or Brahma. So Brahmarpanam Brahmavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. Now, from this shloka onwards, Paramatma will explain 12 types of yajnas that we need to perform. Not all of them. Whatever suits you, you perform at least one of them. So this one yajna we have learnt now. We go to next shloka, 25. Daivameva pare yajne yoginah paryupasate Brahmagnava pare yajne yajne naivopajubhati. Daivam, in worshipping the demigods, iva, like this. Apare. Apare means some other people, other yogis, other sadhak. Yajnam. Yajnam is that yajna, sacrifices. Yogina, yogi. Paryupasate, worshipping perfectly. Upasana is one. Paryupasana is higher level of upasana. Brahmagni. Brahma in the form of Agni. Apare. Others. Yajnam. Atmarupi sacrifice in the yajna. Yajnena. By yajna only. Upajuvati. Offer or do the havan. Now what all does it mean? Daivameva pare yajne yuginah paripasate. Brahmagnava pare yajne yajne neva upajuvati. Some perform yajna to various demigods with various offerings of various objects with great devotion, chanting mantras with the sense of sacrifice. Daivameva pare yajne yoginah paripasate. This is the first line. Others, they offer self itself as sacrifice in the yajna, in the fire of spiritual transcendental wisdom or knowledge. This is performed for upliftment of self. The whole purpose of this yajna is to acquire Brahmajnan by using prana as a mean. There are other yogis, apare. Apare means other yogis who worship deities or demigods by sacrificial offering and chanting mantra. But other yogis do not engage in this kind of ritualistic concept of yajna. For them, being in steady remembrance of Brahma is a yajna. So, Daivameva pare yajne yoginah paripasate, Brahmagnava pare yajne yajne naiva upajupati. We go to next sloka, 26th. Shrotraadinindriyanyanye sayyamagnishu Shabdadin vishayanyanya indriya agnishu Shrotra adini. Shrotra. We have 5 jnanendriyas. So Shrotra and other. Your ears, your eyes, your nose, your tongue, all these adi indriyani. These senses, anni, others, sayyam. Sayyam is to restrain, to subjugate, to control. Agnishu, in the fire. Juvati, Juvati is to offer. Shabdadin, sound and vibrations. Vishayan, sense objects. Which are the sense objects? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the 5 sense objects. Anni, Anni is others. Indriya, Indriya is senses. We know Agnishu, again in the fire. Juvati is to offer. Shrotra, Dini, Indriyanyanye, Sayyamagnishu, Juvati. Sacrificing your senses like hearing, Shrotra, and others like your nose, through which you smell, all these indriyas, which with their corresponding activities, offering them in the fire of restraint. Restraint is a fire. If you can control your senses, you are performing a yajna. Because restraint is a fire, and you are offering your senses in this fire of restraint. Is called yajna. It means that do not allow senses, ears, eyes, skin, tongue, and nose. These are the 5 jnanendriyas. To get inclined towards the sense objects of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, that means of sound, sight, touch, taste, and smell. These are the sense objects. They constantly restrain their senses. If I don't want to see this, I will not see this. If I don't want to eat this, I will not eat this. This restraining is a yajna. And this yajna we do when we do upvas. We do fasting on Ekadashi. Today is Ekadashi, I think. Oh no, not today. Okay, so on Ekadashi or on other days when you perform fasting, we are doing a sort of yajna because we are restraining our tongue from eating. The real yajna is when you even don't think about eating. So the senses, the mind, the intellect, and ego are said to be complete restraint when these are totally free from attachment. And meditation is the lonely place, in a solitude with no disturbance, is a means to perform this yajna. Shrodradini indriyanyanya sayyamagnichi jupati, shabdadin vishayanyanya indriyagnichi jupati. Fact is that once one attains the self-realization, then whatsoever that person does, it becomes a yajna. The Lord says some yogis attain control, restraint over their senses, like I said, the ears, nose, and etc., and prevent them from interacting with the sense objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. This too is a yajna. And other yogis offer the sense objects as sacrifice in the fire of senses. That means these sense objects, they sacrifice in the fire of senses, which again is a yajna. For example, ears listening to the sound is in effect sacrificial offering in the sound of the sound in the ears. Likewise, eyes seeing colors or form is in effect sacrificial offering of colors in the eyes. Thus, be it eating, walking, everything is yajna. This is amazing, no? On one hand, yogi is performing yajna by exercising self-control, self-restraint over his senses and preventing them from interacting with the sense objects. And on the other, he is experiencing the sensory world through the sense organs. But that experiencing too is a yajna. Shri Krishna has already made it clear that for one who has realized his self, his pure self, has thus the attitude of being a non-doer. Whatsoever that will happen will remain a karma. That too is a yajna. I think you have discussed this. What is karma, akarma, and vikarma? Akarma is something, the skill of performing karma which does not put any entanglement on you. That is akarma. So even if your senses are interacting with the sense objects, but you don't take the role of a doership. And whatever is the result of the interaction of sense with the sense objects, whether it is positive, negative, happy, sad, whatever, if you remain equipoised in all situations and you are not expecting any return reward of those meeting of sense and sense objects, then you are doing a karma. Then you are not entangled. So that is also a yajna. That means both the practices, whether it is restraining the mind and senses, preventing their interaction with the sense objects, or allowing the senses to interact with the sensory world, are in fact yajna. This is because the actions are being performed with a non-doer attitude, without any attachment or any aversion. Thus, what you do is not important, but how you do it and with what attitude. Now, this is of paramount importance. One becomes a sannyasi, a renunciate, and if there is no ego in his sannyasi, in his renunciation, then his renunciation becomes a yajna. The other does not renounce the sensory world. Instead, he interacts, interplays with the sensory world, but with the attitude of a detached witness, not with the attitude of doer, but as a detached witness, a non-doer. And this way of experiencing and interacting with the sensory world is also a yajna. So family people like us can perform this yajna. We don't have to go to Himalaya or to some forest to perform yajna. We can perform this yajna while executing our day-to-day activities, our karmas. Shri Krishna is saying that one whose mind is devoid of attachment, who has the attitude of non-doer, such an individual opting to experience and interplay with this sensory world is also a yajna. And the other who opts to withdraw his senses from the sensory objects, just like the tortoise, it withdraws all its limbs and falls into the shell. If you can do that, restraining your senses from the material attractions, that too is yajna. So if the senses are interacting with sense objects, but you have the attitude of no doership, no expectation of result, return, and reward, that is also yajna. And if you are withdrawing your senses from the material pleasure or material attractions, That is also yajna. Okay, we go to next shloka, 27. Sarvani karmani prana karmani cha pare atma samyama yogagnau juvvati jnana deepite. Sarvani. Sarvani is of all indriya. Indriya senses, we know it. Karmani. Karmani is our karma, actions of senses. Prana karmani, functions of our life breath. Prana. Apare, others. Atma samyama yogagnau, in the fire of self-restraint. Juvvati is to offer. Jnana deepite, in the light of spiritual knowledge, wisdom. Jnana deep. Prana karmani. So some yogis sacrifice, offer all the actions of their senses. That means their indriyas, whatever actions the indriyas take in correlation with the sense objects, all this, they offer all the actions and all the actions of their life energy, prana karmani, in the fire of self-restraint, ignited, created by the light of spiritual wisdom. So this is also a yajna. Sarvani indra karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyama yogagnau juvvati jnana deepite. Others offer the activities of all sense organs and the interaction of prana, that means our vital life force, as offering into the knowledge illuminated fire of yoga, which is established in the supreme divinity. There are yogis who establish the senses in the mind and mind in the prana. Senses in the mind and mind in the prana. This is their yajna. So the activities of all senses, sense organs and organs of action, karmendriya and dhanendriya, are established or stabilized in the mind. And the mind is stabilized in the prana. And by doing this, the aging process of the body gets halted. This is how the yogi, they can live for hundreds of years. Aging of their body ceases at the point in time when they enter the yoga samadhi. And they can remain in that state for as long as they want, for thousands of years also. Further, the yogis who have mastered their prana can even reverse the process of aging. And this too is a type of yajna. It is another matter that other yogis, although having the know-how of the process of reversing the age of their body, choose not to do so because they don't want to go against the working of nature. It is a violation of natural law to stop aging of your body. So they don't do that. Okay, we go to slok 28 now. Dravyajnastapo yajna yoga yajnastatha pare swadhyaya jnana yajnascha yataya samshita vrataha. Dravya yajna. So this is another type of yajna people perform. Dravya yajna means sacrificing, donating one's possessions. We may have money, we may have clothes, we may have food. So making some kind of charity. But all these possessions should have been earned by legitimate means, not through corruption. Many builders, they earn a lot of black money and then they build a temple. That is not so. This is not Dravya yajna. Tapo yajna. Full devotion to the God of your choice, your Ishta Devata. You follow strict rules of day-to-day behavior, like you do Chaturmas, you do Ekadashi. That means sacrificing the comfort of life is also is a Tapo yajna. Yoga yajna. The Patanjali system of performing yogas, that means Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or even traveling to various places of pilgrimage, is also covered under Yoga Yajna. Swadhyaya Yoga Yajna. What is Swadhyaya Yoga Yajna? Self-study. Study of Swa, your pure self. And then whatever karma you do for upliftment of that Swa is Swadhyaya Yoga. Studying Bhagavad-Gītā, understanding its meaning, trying to inculcate its teaching in the life is the Swadhyaya Yoga. So Pujya Swamiji, when he says, गीता पढ़े पढ़ाए और जीवन में लाए, that जीवन में लाए is Swadhyaya Yoga. We should study, we should understand, and we should try to inculcate the message of Lord Krishna in our day-to-day life, this Swadhyaya Yoga. So Swadhyaya Yoga Yajna, that is. In 16th Adhyaya, we see Daivasur Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. We understand the traits, the gunas of Devas and Asuras. Trying to bring those Daivi gun in our day-to-day life is the Swadhyaya Yoga Yajna. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasi Dhanandamashya Yajna Swadhyaya Stavarjam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodas Tyaga Shantir Vaishwanam Daya Bhutesh Paloluptam Mardam Rita Chapalam Teja Kshamadati Shaucham Madroho Nati Manita Avanti Sampadam Devim Abhijatasya Bharata. These were three slokas of 16th Adhyaya. They describe 26 traits of Daivi people. So do we have this gun in us? The rest of Adhyaya is explaining about the Asuri gunas. We have predominance of Asuri guna or Daivi guna. How can we change from Asuri guna to Daivi guna? This Swadhyaya Yoga Yajna. So this is another type of Yajna Paramatma is saying. So some offer wealth and their possessions, other offer their austerities, and some other offer their practice of this eightfold path of yoga as a Yajna. Whereas others offer study of Veda, knowledge as a Yajna. Now in this, there is a word, Samshita Vrataha. What is Samshita Vrataha? It comprises of 3-4 things. Which are those? Non-violence, truth, non-stealing, celibacy, brahmachari, and refrain from hoarding. That what we read, Tyakta Sarva Parigraha, that is hoarding, refrain from hoarding. These are called yama. And the follower of this yama is Samshita Vrataha. Non-violence, truth, non-stealing, celibacy, and refraining from hoarding. These are the yamas, 5 yamas. And the one who follows these yamas in his day-to-day life is a Samshita Vrataha. So in this sloka, Shri Krishna is listing the various yajnas. Dravya yajna involves offering the wealth or objects for the benefit of mankind. The person earns money and then uses a part or sometimes all of it of what he has earned for the charitable purpose, puts it towards the service of the needy people. And mind you, not everyone can do this yajna. Just as not everyone can do the other yajnas, what we have discussed, everyone cannot do even Dravya yajna. The Lord says, those who offer wealth or objects as an act of charity for the benefit of others, this giving is also yajna. Performing your duties, your role, your work with complete sincerity, say a teacher, a doctor doing his job with full sincerity is also a type of yajna. When a doctor treats his patients with complete sincerity without cheating or fleeing him of the unnecessary tests and uncalled investigations, what test karke aao, what test karke aao, then the performance of his role as an honest doctor becomes a form of yajna. So we have the chance of performing yajna in our day-to-day life. It is said that before Swami Vivekananda was due to travel abroad, he went to seek the blessings of Ma Sharda Devi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's wife. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was his Adhyatmic Guru. She was working in the kitchen and seeing him, she asked Vivekananda to pass her the kitchen knife. Vivekananda picked up the knife and holding the sharp cutting edge in his palm, he directed the knife handle towards Sharda Devi. Sharda Devi took the knife, looked at Vivekananda and gave him her blessings. And Vivekananda took his leave. Now, on the face of it, this may seem like any other small incident. But this small incident has revealed Vivekananda's mental and intellectual stature to Sharda Devi. He handed the blunt end of the knife to her and kept the sharp end towards him, so that if in the process of handling the knife, in case someone's hand could have got grazed, then it would be his hand and not Ma Sharda Devi's hand. The one who has such compassion, such awareness, such wisdom will do all his actions adroitly, sincerely, and scrupulously. Okay, we go to next sloka now, 29. Apane juvvati pranam prane panam tatha pare pranapana-gati rudhva pranayama parayana. Now these are pranayam based yajnas. Prana is the breath going outward. Apan is the breath coming inward. If you hold your breath in apan, that is called purak. Similarly, if you hold your breath in prana, that is called rechak. If you stop both prana and apan, that is called kumbha. So this is also a yajna, pranayam. Your purak, rechak, and kumbha. This is also yajna. So inhaling, holding, and exhaling breath is also yajna. And that helps us in cleaning up our mind. Apane jivati pranam prane panam tatha pare pranapana-gati rudhva pranayama parayana. So some yogis offer apana vayu in prana vayu as a yajna, while others offer prana vayu in apana vayu as a yajna. Some other yogis sees the functioning of prana and apana, thus perfecting the practice of pranayama. This is also yajna. But we should not try to do this kind of yajnas without the guidance of an expert. This is a very difficult yoga. So by now we must have gathered that some yajnas appear simpler and some not so easy to do. And it is not necessary that we should perform all the yajnas. Do which you are capable of doing. Don't try to overstretch. Some more yajnas, Paramatma explains. Apare niyata ahara pranan praneshu jubhati sarve pyete yajnavido yajnak shabita kalmashaha. Another type of pranayam, yajna, Paramatma says. Apare, some other yogis, niyata ahara, controlling their eating, their ahar. Pranan praneshu jubhati means sacrificing, stopping prana in prana and apana in apana. You don't exhale, you don't inhale, stop the breath wherever it is. Very, very difficult pranayam. So all this performance of various yajnas, who have understood the meaning of sacrifice, becomes cleansed of sinful reactions of their karma. Yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Now this pranayam is a stambhavrutti pranayam. This is called stambhavrutti pranayam. Example is, in the rainy season, we see a lot of frogs raising some dirty sound here and there. And slowly when the summer starts, they shrink like anything. And that they almost drop dead. In the sand, if you are walking, you see some dead frog somewhere. But after a few months, when the raindrops fall on that sand, those so-called dead frogs again come to life. And then again start making noise, sound. So some yogis can do this. They can hold their breath, prana in prana, apana in apana. No activity of prana at all. So these frogs is an example of this kind of stambhavritti pranayam. This is also yajna. But for human beings to perform this kind of yajna is extremely difficult. Let us not venture into something which we cannot do. So in this shloka, Sri Krishna, he says, the one who has control over his diet and appetite, niyatahara, and the one who eats without being attached to the food, and one who merges prana into prana, that is, becomes the witness of every incoming and outgoing breath, that too is a yajna. So these are the various types of yajna. Offering prana into prana also means establishing prana, the breath we take in, into prana. As I said, this is called stambhavritti pranayam. Lord says, the one who thus performs yajnas of prana, he gets purified of all his sins. Yajna kshapita kalmasha. So these are all the yajnas we have learned today. I think we should stop today, and the remaining shlokas we'll take in the next session. Thank you so much for giving your time. If you have any questions now, please feel free to raise your questions, and I will try my best to satisfy your queries. Jai Shri Krishna to all.
Thank you so much, Vaidya, for divine knowledge you gave us. And now, as you said, we will start question answer session. And I can see Vallamuri ji. Ji, Vallamuri ji. Ji, please. Vaidya, unmute yourself and you can ask.
Please go ahead.
Jai Shri Krishna Guruji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Am I audible?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Now, my question is that we get up in the morning and sleep in the night. In
Yeah.
between, we do so many karmas. That is yajnas only,
Yes.
right? Now, these karmas are controlled by the Prakriti, that is three gunas. Sometimes we are in Tamoguna, sometimes in Rajoguna, sometimes in Sattva-guna. Now, my question is how to offer all these karmas at the end of the day to the Lord,
Okay.
so that we can not detach to that.
Excellent. Very nice. Very good. See, you are right that we do some Rajasi and Tamasi karma, and then how are we qualified to offer that karma to Lord?
Yeah.
Isn't it? That question. See, the thing is, this habit of doing karma without any attachment, without having the role of doership, and without having expectation of return and reward, has to be deeply rooted in our antakaran, in our mind. And doing every karma as a karma, that means doing every karma which will not put any entanglement, bondage on us, should become our habit of doing the karma. We may initially do some Rajasi karma also, but when we are not claiming the ownership, then those karmas do not put a bondage on you, because you are not the owner, you are only a witness. Many Santa Mahatma also, they enter into some Rajasi karma, but they do it only as a witness. They never do it by themselves. They are a mere witness. And slowly and surely, at the end of day, when we go to bed and we say, whatever I have done during the day today, Shri Krishna Pranamastu. When you are in this habit of doing it, every night you will think, today did I do something bad? And then you will feel ashamed that I am offering some bad karma also to Paramatma. So when this kind of feeling will keep coming to your mind daily, a day will come when you will not do any bad karma at all. Because you know at the end of the day, you are going to offer everything to Lord Krishna. And you will feel guilty of offering anything bad to Lord Krishna. You are going to a marriage, for example. You are giving some gift, some utensils, some pressure cooker or something. When your pressure cooker or your utensils, whatever you are offering to that newly wedded couple, if it has deep scratches on it, would you like to offer it?
No.
Similarly, karmas that we do, if the karmas having deep scratches of attachment or kartrutva abhiman, should we offer it to Paramatma? No. So that becomes the habit then. So this is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, that slowly we have to tread on this path. Right from day one, we may not be the expert, obviously not. But slowly and surely we tread on this path, and a day will come when we will follow in ditto, word by word, every script what Lord Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita. And that is the day where we become a yogi. So this is a training on that path.
Etat phalam sarvam Shri Krishna arpanamastu.
Correct. Right. Right. Okay, any other questions?
Neeta Shani Didi.
जय श्री कृष्ण. मराठी किंवा हिंदी मध्ये विचारू शकते का?
हा, विचारा. हिंदीत विचारलं बरं होईल, सगळ्यांना कळेल म्हणजे.
हाँ ठीक है. ये जुगवती जो वर्ड है ना, वो 26, 29 आणि 30 में बरेच वेळा आलाय ना, म्हणून मुझे ये मीनिंग जानना है जुगवती वर्ड का.
जुगवती इज टू मेक ऑफरिंग. किसी को कुछ यज्ञ में हम कुछ आहुति डालते हैं, उस प्रक्रिया को कहते हैं जुगवती, किसी को समर्पित करना कोई चीज. So when we offer our karma to Paramatma, it is a jugvati of karma to Paramatma. The jugvati is to offer, to make the offering. In typical yajna, ritual yajna, we offer the ghee or til or jow or that samidha in the fire of that yajna. So that process is called jugvati. Oh, yeah, jugvati.
विदा डाल के हम स्वाहा बोलते हैं ना, तो इसीलिए.
Right, right.
तो बहुत बार आया ना, इसलिए पूछा.
Yeah. Many times. Yes.
प्रमोद
Okay.
उपाध्याय जी. प्रमोद उपाध्याय जी. Okay, next. कनकलता समल जी. हाँ. कनकलता जी, please unmute yourself.
भाई दीदी, and my question is, why do criminals cover their faces and the victims, their faces are shown? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
If you you are audible. I could understand the question. What we discussed
Yes.
was in the context of people trying to break the law, but they don't want to get caught. With that mentality, people do all bad karmas. But legally, if you talk to some policeman or some advocate, they will say that we ask them to hide the face because they are still not proven guilty. They have been caught, but they have not been proven guilty by the court of law. So until the court of law gives them punishment, they are a non-guilty. And a non-guilty person should not be put on the public exhibition that he is a guilty. So to avoid that exhibiting in his face, we should cover his face. And when he is proven guilty in the court, then of course no one can cover the face. But until such time, his face needs to be covered because he is still not proven guilty as yet.
Approved. Thank you, bhai. Okay, thank you, bhai. Jai.
Pramoda Upadhyay ji, please ask your question.
Thank you. I am wishing happy Diwali to all the participants, yourself and Vikas ji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I am now going to explain my personal experience that
Yes,
once I am attending the Geeta Parivar Slokas, even though today I attend your this whatever you represented interpretations, at that time my mind is become just solo and it converts and it says to me that you try to be like that a good man. You obey all the obedient things in the family and to everybody. But after a few days or after sometimes whenever I am not in touch with the Gita Adhyayas, my whatever the impact on my mind is converting and I'm not able to obey at that time. Why it happens like those and what to do for that?
Okay, very nice. It happens with all of us. See, the question is, whatever we learn during Gita Vivechan, we instantly agree with the thoughts. And then we say, yes, this is the right way. I should behave like this. Then I will be a happy person. Okay, very good. Understood. But the worldly attractions are so many that you get tempted to do some kind of activity when you are under the influence of Rajasi Guna or Tamasi. And since the Prakriti is deciding, it is all your samskar of previous life or even this life which decide under what influence you will be for most of the time. If your previous samskars are more and more sattvic, you will do more and more sattvic karma. If your previous karmas, previous samskar are of Rajasi nature, then you will be tempted to do Rajasi. If they are of Tamasi, you will do Tamasi. That means if your samskar are Tamasi, then even if someone takes you holding your hand to a Gita Vivechan Satra, you will somehow make an excuse and you will say, I am very busy, I have to go out. Because a person who is having a Tamasi samskar on him, he cannot sit in Gita Vivechan. As simple as that. So it is all your previous samskar which decide, but the technique, how to avoid this? Technique is meditation. this small piece of time wherein our mind becomes sattvic, how to prolong it more and more. Today the sattvic sound, sattvic bhav has come in our mind, say for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Our effort should be to prolong it to 24 hours, or at least till the time we are awake. So this technique you can learn through meditation. How to prolong being in the sattvic bhava for as long as we can. And this can happen through meditation. In 6th Adhyaya Atma Sanyam Yoga, when we discuss that, we learn this technique also as to how to prolong this sattvic bhav in our day-to-day behavior, so that during all the 8 or 10 hours, whatever we are working or we are active physically and mentally, we are in sattvic bhav all the time. And we cleanse our past sanskar, which could have been rajasi or tamasi, and try to become more and more sattvic. So our future sanskar should be all sattvic.
I got it. And one thing is very clear. There is a lot of change by attending this Vivechan, or even by attending all these our adhyayas. There are a lot of change in my thoughts. But even though sometimes I feel that still I am not a Gita, I am not working what Gita is saying. And that's why I've asked these questions to how overcome this problem. That every time I should be a very polite with everybody, and I should attach with the God, and my thoughts should be very positive. That always I think, but I am trying for that, even though I am not getting 100% outcome of that. So I raise these questions. By listening you, I hope that shortly and by longer time, I may be a good persons like other persons who behave like Gita's Parivar.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Of our life should always be in our mind all the time. What happens is, whatever roles we are playing in our day-to-day life, we get so much deeply engrossed in those roles that you think I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a businessman, I'm a neighbor, or I'm a colleague of someone in the office. And those roles, they become so much stronger for you that you forget what you are really and what is the objective of life. So if we keep this objective of life in mind all the time and take these roles as merely roles and not our actual being, then we always remain in consciousness that what exactly I am and what is the main objective of my life. So don't get too deeply engrossed in the materialistic world roles. These are roles we are playing. And if this remains in our mind, then we will never forget what we are and what is our main objective. Okay. Any other questions? I should thank all of you because today is Diwali day, and even then you are all sitting here asking questions. This is wonderful.
Yes, thank you so much, Vaidya. Okay, so I can't see any raised hand. So we can go towards the end. I would like to thank all of the behind-scenes savis who have helped to make this session very smooth presentation. And of course, thank you, Vikas Dada, being with us and giving us such a divine knowledge and also answered our questions very nicely. So it's a beautiful session. And I would like to thank Suresh Vyas Dada being with us as a tech, and of course, Kavita Verma Didi is with us. So I would like to thank her also, Adaraniya Kavita Verma Didi, Advaita Vedanta Acharya Kavita Verma Didi. And thanks all of you being with us for this beautiful session. And now prayer and then Hanuman Chalisa. So for prayer, I would like to request Vaishnavi Varnerkar Didi. Didi is from Sirisi, Karnataka. She has joined Geeta Parivar in January 22 and she is serving as a technical assistant in Learn Geeta program. Jai Shri Krishna Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi. योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. जय श्री कृष्ण दीदी. जय श्री कृष्ण भैया.
Thank you so much, Didi. Jai Shri Krishna. And now it's time for Hanuman Chalisa. please download Rama Pratishtha app and do Hanuman Chalisa every day. जी, हनुमान चालीसा पाठ.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरना मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
महाबली हनुमान की जय. Thank you so much everyone for joining us and See you soon. See you again next week with next interpretation of this chapter. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Shubha Deepavali.